Welcome to Crafts and Minis. Today I have a find for cheap miniatures that I wanted to share with you. The company Mantic Games is amazing. They produce a lot of great games, a lot of great miniatures at great prices. And so even just the retail on some of their stuff is very reasonable. And I really like supporting them and have run into them at different conventions and have always been impressed. And I play Kings of War seldom now, it seems like, but I love that game and been in it from the beginning with even their first Kickstarter they did for that and have been following each of the editions since. And it's a lot of fun. So I always pay attention to the sales Mantic has on their website. And recently they had a sale where they sold pieces that you see in front of you. This is from one of the games they produced called Loka. Now, Loka is a take on chess, I believe. I actually don't know much about the game, but these are like game pieces that they actually sold separately. So you see the blue, the yellow, the red pieces in front of you. They sold these for $4 a package, $3.99 American, a package for like the set of blue or the set of yellow or the set of red recently in this sale. And I think they also have a green set, but that wasn't available. And so I picked up a number of these sets. I think I actually picked up like 6 of each. Went a little crazy, but because I saw some of the miniatures and I'm like, okay, I need some multiples of those. Now, what's interesting about this is hunting for miniatures. You don't want to, of course, just look at who produces minis for the various games you might play like D&D. You want to look at what board games are out there that have miniatures, but also games you wouldn't look at. Like there's all sorts of stylized chessboards out there, and this would fall into that category. So I wanted to take you on a quick tour of the different factions here. I believe it's ice and air and fire, and the green I think are like earth, type. And I have a Reaper miniature here, a 28mm miniature for scale, painted by my buddy Joey, who moved out of town. Joey, if you're watching this, hope everything's well. Hope your family's doing great too. And I rebased it, Joey, just so you know, so it'd fit in with the other minis I got. But I love that mini that Joey painted up for one of his PCs he was playing. And it's always sad when someone who you game with moves out of town. But I'm just really, really grateful that he shared a lot of his gaming stuff with me when he moved. So on to Loka. One of the things that caught my eye in this set are these pieces. Like with each faction, there is an elemental. And so this is the ice faction elemental. And you can see that's pretty sharp. The air faction elemental, I also really liked. It actually has like some eyes kind of on there. And I thought those would work really well. Also, the fire. Now, the fire is my least favorite of the 3, but it's still usable. The reason I say least favorite, it's got like chains around it and a helmet, a face mask of some sort, which is interesting. I mean, those could be, I could make something out of that. That's kind of cool. But, yeah, I liked all the elementals. I also liked how, I don't know if these were supposed to be the bishops from the set, but there were like wizards for each of the factions also that I thought, okay, these might be usable, right? And when you're talking, each one of these sets comes with, what is that, 9 miniatures. You're talking, that's less than 50 cents a figure when they were on sale like this, right? So I thought they were a good deal. When you look at the queens from each set, these are really cool. Like this ice one has the wings and this terrifying body and the tail. It's just really cool. I really like this one for the air. It's like an angel, which that is an always useful miniature. And like I said, I got multiples of these packs, so I think now I have 6 of these angels, which is really cool. And then also the fire has like the snake body. Ooh. You could pass this off as a Medusa, even though the hair is not really snakes, but it's a really cool miniature too. And then what was also cool about all these are like, well, let me go with the knights. And when I say knight, I'm referring to, the chess term. Oh, I already showed you. Oh, no, that one. Awesome. So when you see these 3 different ones, you see like this Undead Pegasus, which is a really cool take, right? And these would all go on medium-sized bases, the ones I'm holding right now. And you get a griffin, a medium-sized griffin, which you don't see that often. And then you get a, I don't know, fire-breathing seahorse. I don't know. That one, not my favorite, but that's okay. A lot of these are really fun and useful and, yeah, are great to have. Now, one thing I also liked was all of the kings are very different and interesting, right? So, like, this guy sitting on his throne is really cool. And it's like an air throne, right? And this lich, oh, that is awesome, right? That is awesome. And then this fella is like all flames on his throne, which that could be used as like an Afridi or something. I don't know. It's just cool. So like there's all these different options to think about. Of course, when you're using miniatures that aren't designed for your game, you have like all this flexibility of like, oh, how can I use this in like D&D or other tabletop games? Okay, then I wanted to show you each one of these is a representation of 4 miniatures that comes in these extra packs. So remember, I didn't buy the whole game Loka. I just got these packs separately for sale for $4 each, which was awesome. And they're the different factions from the game, but they sell them separately. So you don't have to buy the whole game. But, you know, I do want to see those green guys now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, so blue comes with a skeleton. And you can tell, like, that take on chest, right? Because there's a pawn on his shield. But shields, that's easy enough to cover up or scrape off. Right? But I kind of like the look of that skeleton. Right? And now, since there are 4 in this pack and I got 6, well, now you know I got 2 dozen of those. I also got 2 dozen of these. Now, these are just interesting because this could pass for just some, you know, exotic temple guard, a type of soldier of some sort, right? I just really like it. It kind of has like a dark elf feel from the old Warhammer Dark Elves, which are really cool. And like something like this, if you wanted to, chop the head off, replace the head, that body's pretty versatile, right? So I could use that with a lot of different things. And then these little goblin or orc dudes, a lot of fun. And just to show you scale, right? Boom. Those are perfect goblins, maybe even hobgoblins, right? Now, something you've noticed as I've been showing you all these are these integral bases. So I say integral bases all the time in my videos because I just mean like if the base is attached to the miniature. A lot of Reaper miniatures come that way. You know, it's pretty common when you're buying figures for role-playing that they have integral bases. Now, these have integral bases because they're supposed to be used on like a chessboard type thing in the game. So it makes sense. But for our purposes, I would take them off. And that's not going to be hard. These are plastic. You can just clip around the foot, and that's cool. Or, of course, if you got way too many of a certain type, these are pre-made statues. I mean, boom, right? They already got a pedestal. It's awesome. So, ready to go statues. But I just wanted to show you this find. Keep your eyes open for different board games. Like stuff like this is just blowing up, especially because of Kickstarter. There are a ton of games out there now with miniatures, which I love. And, you know, they're like, I know I have like figures from like Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit, right, that someone was selling, and I found more on eBay. You just never know where you're going to pick up these board game figures that are appropriate for our games. And like this is awesome. It's produced by a minis manufacturer who specializes in 28mm scale, right? And these figures fit so well in scale. It's ridiculous. So this is just another thing to go hunt for, take a look at. Loka, Loka, from Mantic Games. And I hope you got something useful out of this. And this week, go get after your hobby.